Did you think that cell phones or electronics could cause hearing loss? Well, researchers say longtime mobile phone users who talk more than an hour a day on devices may be more likely to have high-frequency hearing loss, according to Dougherty 2007. According to the survey that I gave you before my speech, most of us talk on the cell phone for more than 60 minutes a day. I can hear my phone vibrate from when it's downstairs when I'm upstairs. I've had instances where I think my phone's ringing and then it rings 5 seconds later. So I always thought it had some correlation to my phone and my brain, or transmissions, something between there. Using electronics like cell phones for more than an hour a day, you can eventually lose your hearing. I'm going to talk about the health risks of using electronic devices, the studies done to prove that hearing loss comes from cell phones and musical systems, and the symptoms and preventions. First, I'm going to talk about the health risks of using electronic devices such as cell phones, MP3 players, iPods, etc. According to Christensen 2011, when you use your cell phone, your brain is receiving transmissions from RF waves. RF waves are a form of electromagnetic energy that falls between FM radio waves and microwaves. So it's not as strong as a microwave going through your body, but it's stronger than listening to the FM radio. RF waves can heat up your body temperature in some parts and at a low frequency. So if you're talking on your cell phone, it can heat up parts of your brain. Some studies show the RF waves transmitted from cell phones may cause or help the tumors grow. So if you have a tumor in your brain that you're not aware of, the cell phone radiation can actually help them grow. That's according to Christensen 2011 as well. It's also shown an increased risk of tumors on the side that you hold your phone on. So if you're right-handed, a lot of people hold their phone on their right ear, meaning it causes tumors more on your right side than your left side. If you're left-handed, it's that. I'm left-handed, so obviously it'd be this side. Longer time on on your cell phones equals the higher chance of experiencing hearing loss. By exposing yourself to loud noise, you have a high chance of an injury or damage to hearing. There has been extensive research on hearing loss and tinnitus associated with occupational noise exposure, according to Geetha, Ganja, Krishan, and Rajesha. By using iPods, MP3 players, the waves being transmitted from the phone are being transmitted from your phone or your ear pod or your earphones or anything like that directly to your ear and then to your brain. It's showing that recreational music can cause tinnitus and hearing loss. The larger amount of exposure to the RF waves from cell phones, the more chance of the hearing loss. So the longer you're talking on your cell phone, the more chance you have of having hearing loss. Those who use phones for more than 4 years have had hearing loss in high frequency ranges in their right ear, the ear most held to the phone to, than those who use mobile phones for 1 to 2 years, according to Dougherty 2007. According to Panda, if you talk on cells a lot, it may cause the inner ear damage, which isn't really hearing loss, but it can cause inner ear damage as well. Next, I want to share some studies done according to research, or show some studies that have been done. According to research, people who have used phones for more than 60 minutes a day have had worse hearing than those who have used cell phones less, or not at all. Like people from India, they don't have, some of the people don't have cell phones at all, so they were tested on those. That's according to the study linked Cell 2007. I take at least 5 calls a day, 10 to 15 minutes long, an average. That's 50 to 75 minutes a day. That's if my mother doesn't call, then it's a lot longer. A major study done by Naresh K. Panda, who I mentioned before, and his colleagues. He's the chairman of the Department of Ears, Nose, and Throat in India. They did studies on 100 people between the ages of 18 and 45. He divided them into 3 different groups based on their length of their cell phone use. People who have used phones for more than a year were compared to cell phone users that don't use cell phones at all. The results were that people who use cell phones longer suffered more hearing loss than the no cell phone users. Another study was done to see the difference between the amount of music exposure and how related to health problems. 89 subjects who used personal music systems like iPods or MP3 players in their ears with the headphones they asked them questions about how often they use their music. 20% of them showed a prevalence of tinnitus and 7.2% showed signs of hearing loss. It shows that recreational music does cause tinnitus and could be injurious to hearing, according to Geetha, Ganja, Kanesha, and Rajesha, 2009. Lastly, I want to talk to you about the symptoms and preventions. when you hear something, your ears send something to the brain. As in this picture, the abnormal hearing versus, or normal hearing versus abnormal hearing. You have the inner and the outer ear hairs called the cochlea. The hairs send sound to the brain to tell you what an item is or what that sound is. With the loud sounds from cell phones, music, grenades, anything like that, etc., the hairs are damaged, which causes your hearing loss. With safe sounds, you can be related to, here's how loud is too loud. It shows you your 40 is in the safe. It says that 85 decibels through an 8-hour period is a safe zone. People who listen to an iPod are at 115, which is a not safe zone. So if you're listening to an iPod in an 8-hour period, then you're going to experience some sort of hearing loss eventually. Let's see here. That's according to Lyle 2010, the pictures. Some symptoms of hearing loss include ear warmth, fullness, and ringing in the ears, which is tinnitus, according to Study Cells 2007. Of course, later in life, it affects being able to hear well and not at all. Some ways to prevent the hearing loss is to use hands-free speaker devices for your phone, a landline, texting more, not texting and driving, but texting more, limiting your cell phone use, and lowering the volume on your phone and your music systems, according to Christensen 2011. As you can see, you can lose hearing if you talk more than 60 minutes a day on your cell phone. There are health risks involved with cell phone of electronic devices for a long period of time. I told you the risks, the studies, the symptoms, and preventions. By watching the amount of time you use, or the amount of time that you use your cell phone or iPod and stuff like that, you shouldn't have to worry about losing your hearing. Thank you. Thank you. You can